want to take a minute, if you have not scanned in, check in. I think there's still an issue with the other phone. The Android. The non-iPhone. No, this one. Okay. So I'm hearing that the Android is working fine. So back up a minute. Thank you. And we are the 1 million cups in Eustis, Lake County, so thank you for everyone for being here. So a couple housekeeping things as always before we start. We want to keep the side conversations to a minimum because we want to give our presenters all of your attention. We also want to silence our cell phones so we don't interrupt. Sometimes our presenters, man, they get out of roll and that one little ding just can totally throw you off. It's like great. I have to start all over again and it's going to take away from their time. Just kidding, but if we keep our cell phones silent. And then bathrooms. Ladies is in the back, men are up here in the front. So again, if you're not logged in, that is the Wi-Fi password and log in. So we want to thank our hosts, as always, Cam and George, for the beautiful venue. You know, it's just a reminder that if you have a business idea and you're not where to start, and you don't know where to start, you have everything under one roof. You come here, you do your presentation to get feedback from experienced, successful business people that are attending. You go downstairs and you meet with John Doremus at Small Business Development Center. He's going to help put together a plan. Then you go meet with Wendy at the incubator, and she's going to kick that business off. And in a matter of no time, you're going to be in the Lake 100 as one of the most successful CEOs in Lake County. Right? And then our other sponsors for our coffee, as always, Foxdale, which I think is some great coffee, and then United Southern Bank for the donut sponsors. So thank them. If you get a chance and you're out and about, please visit Foxdale and just thank them for being the sponsors every single week. So, what is 1MC? Who's new for the first time? Do we have any first timers? All right, these are one of the first timers. Great job. So everybody's experienced, but we have a special person to tell you more about 1MC. So I would like to introduce. This is Kenzie Fitzpatrick. She is our southeast regional rep. She's a regional rep for the South. She's going to tell you about her experience, what 1MC is all about, and just anything and everything you wanted to know. So Kenzie,
awesome. Thank you. Welcome. Hi. I traveled here and so excited to be here. Congratulations. I know I missed the launch, but I'm very excited to be here in Lake County. This is a huge deal. So to just fire you guys up, I gotta tell you how 1MC started too is why it's Wednesday mornings. Kaufman Foundation actually have free breakfast every Wednesday morning, and so entrepreneurs started gathering over coffee, over food, free food, right? And so it kind of was like this accidental thing where they're like, hey, why don't we have some entrepreneurs present every week and talk about what they're struggling with, what their hardships are, and it evolved from that. Other communities saw what Kansas City was doing and was like, hey, we want to do that. Let's give it a name. Let's call it something. And now we've had hundreds of communities all over the country, and you guys are part of that. Every Wednesday, communities are meeting right now, listening to entrepreneurs tell their story. And there's no place like it. I know a lot of you are part of chambers, BNIs are amazing organizations, but this is a free event, over caffeine, and a place for entrepreneurs to be vulnerable. I've gotten up in here and presented in different communities. I've helped launch, I don't even know now, 20, 30 communities, travel all over the country. What you guys have here too in this space, this venue, this team is phenomenal. If you don't know, and I'm sure you do, but I'm going to tell you, the organizers on this team are the best hardworking organizers you're going to meet. They give their time, their effort, their venue, paying for food. I mean, I have to recognize them because without them, this wouldn't be possible. I know poor Ray probably batted down one of his door for a year, something, a long time to get this launched. So just know there's a lot of passion and that goes into this. Has anyone here been to the Kaufman Foundation? Okay. Yeah, it's a very neat organization. Kaufman always believed about helping entrepreneurs and giving education to even the lowest person that didn't have access. So with 1MC, what I want you guys to understand about it is we're here to lower barriers to entry. I'm very blessed. I grew up with entrepreneurs, so for me, I saw what it was like, and I was like, I want that life, let me go do it. They don't teach this in schools. They teach you to go get a career, and that's awesome. But we want to grow the next generation and get everybody to the same level to have an equal chance at making it, right? So just want to share that. Don't want to take up a lot of time, but 1MC is so important and so important to me with a couple of things. This is a presentation. grow our community, to show up for each other, to give back. So thank you all for being here. You guys are so inspiring. I'm very excited, and thank you for having me. Don't forget to apply to present too, and we've got some travel mugs to give away. I think we should probably give away one to the newbie in the room, because that's pretty awesome.
We can do that.
Yes.
You can show your sisters, like, see what happens when you don't come.
So, you know, and it sounds silly, but just spreading the word of one and see whether I'm wearing a shirt or coffee mugs. There's so many people just don't know about this, and it is really incredible, especially in Florida. I was told this to organizers last night. You guys have Orlando, Daytona Beach, Ocala. You have this huge connection that's still far enough away, but your entrepreneurs can go present in all those communities and get really good feedback. So, yeah, thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Thank you. So here's our next challenge. I think it was last week we had somebody come out from Dayton, so we're going statewide. Now we have somebody from Tennessee, we're going nationwide. Who knows a successful business person from another country? Because we want to go international. That's your challenge for next week. All right, so you want to present. Go to our website. I think I sent it out. If not, we'll send it out. Research it. It's we're working on it. 1 million bucks. Lake County / Eustis. There's an application on there. You go on there. We found it. You make the application. You send it in. We review it. We accept it. Or you just tell one of us on the organizing team. We'll get you in. We'll get you the link. And then again, if you have a business, if you have a thought for a business, if you have a new business, generally 1 to 5 years, and you have, Kenzie put it perfectly when we did our conference call with her, that what keeps you up at night? And I love the way she said that, because if you have a new business, something is keeping you up at night. This is why you want you up here to help solve those problems. And then if you're an experienced business person and you're starting a new venture, this is where we want you. So we have a lot of those in there, but this is the perfect opportunity for you. So we want to stay connected. This is our Facebook page. As we grow our social media presence, then we will add more to that. But make sure with the website and the Facebook page that you like us and follow us. That way you can get updates throughout the week. So if you want to be an organizer, we always need help. I think we have 12 people on the organizing team. 4 or 5 of us are the original organizers, and then we've had some other great volunteers step in. Greg did, Jared has, Len has. We can always use more, because like today, I think we have 4 or 5 that weren't here, and we're always looking to help get people involved. So if you want to become an organizer, let us know as well. Question of the day. We had this last night at dinner, and we thought, this is a great one. What's your odd hobby?
There are some weird ones, but good ones.
I don't think it's odd, but I mean, I played pickleball. Well, I played pickleball this morning before coming here.
That's not an odd hobby for you. That's an addiction for you.
It is.
Anybody else?
I crochet. Oh, wow, that's so cool.
That's not odd. You know, we were talking last night.
Those skills are diminishing, but like those who know how to crochet or sew,
Yeah.
there's a lot.
And if you go to some of the younger people, do they even know what crocheting is?
Right.
I know what it is. I know what the word is. I don't know what the outcome is. You know, like when we were talking last night, mine was, I think it's an odd hobby that I get involved in non-paying positions. And with the one that I still question, and I will question every single day, I became the president of my HOA board at our This is what I get every single time I say that. So, again,
Well, I'm the same way. I somehow walk into places and I became PTO president and I had to cheer for our league and even fill up. So I feel that. Oh yeah. I'm full. My calendar is full. But my odd hobby is I love to organize. I declutter.
wait,
I go to
wait.
friends' houses and do it. Oh God. This is what happens. This is how it begins.
I know,
But it's my hobby.
I'm reading 24/8.
24/8. I wish I read 24/1, which is 1 hour every day. One more. Anybody else?
Well, I'll tell my
Okay.
if you want. We have a thrift store that gives to charity, the children's home, but I will go in there and work in that place until like, it doesn't make any money, we give all the money away. But I will work in there till 10 o'clock at night, organizing and just, you know, putting everything in its place, dusting and cleaning. I don't know, it's weird.
Somebody had to-
I collect good food pictures.
Oh, I love that.
I will go to like 12 pages in Google to find the best chicken parmesan picture in Brussels. Because the angle matters, the lighting matters, and I actually collect those pictures and have a whole folder full of the best food pictures I've ever seen.
And the coolest thing is, have you seen the picture of the sheet cake, of the picture of the cake, and then the picture says nailed it? And it looks like the sheet cake was left out in the sun for about 3 days. On the nailed it picture, my wife and I do that all the time. It's like, we'll make something, and we'll see the picture going, ooh, nailed it, because it looks nothing like what it's supposed to. All right, so that's our last slide. So we will come back to that. So we are at presentation time. So if you're enjoying the Bundz cakes, this is from our first presenter. So this is Angela Bundz with the business. I don't know. We're gonna find out. That's why she's presenting today.
Hi, I'm Angela Bundz, and I'm grateful for this opportunity, and thank you so much for any feedback and things, and let me tell you what's going on with my business. Something I'd like you to remember during this talk is you see how to spell my last name. I'm Angela Bundz, and I'm doing a Bundz cake business.
That's awesome.
Wendy Taylor asked me to present, and I said, I don't know, Wendy, it's really a struggle with my name right now. I've got things pretty lined up. I've got a baking business coach. I'm doing the things, and then I said, people gave me some feedback, and I said, now I'm kind of frozen. So she said, this would be great. So people have laughed when they've seen my name and what I'm doing, so maybe you all get why I'm here today. So next slide. So this is just my personal background, so that you have an idea of some of the things I've done. I love baking and serving people and bringing kindness to people. So there's a lot of those things. Somebody last week said they wanted to meet John Maxwell. I don't know if you're here, but he's the real deal. I trained under him, and he's the real deal. So this is just a little bit about myself. My husband and I have been with our 3 daughters in Eustis for 25 years. He's a surgeon in Leesburg, so I ran his office, so I can relate to just what else are you doing here now. I'm not currently a nurse practitioner. I'm a realtor right now, and this is my passion with the cake, so that's what I'm moving into. My husband and I work really, really well together. I guess that would be a weird hobby. So he won't be able to be a surgeon forever, so this is a business that we would like to do together. Our family's always baked. I know everybody wants the story. If you're old enough to know, my mother was a home economics teacher, so they don't get that anymore. So I grew up cooking and sewing. I hate sewing. I don't sew anymore, but I love to bake. My family all did, and my husband was a pastry chef before he was a surgeon. He's really good with things with his hands. So we've always cooked and baked in our house, and our daughters all do. And so when I say family recipe turned wedding dessert, we have this family bundt cake recipe, and we just started. We'd have it, and wow, this is pretty good. And then our children got old enough, and they would take it places, and can I have that recipe? That's a really good cake. And then one of my daughters had a friend who was getting married, and they took the bundt cake to the wedding. So I'm like, wow, maybe we're onto something with this bundt cake. So another thing that I'm interested in is I want to have the most excellent cold brew and bundt cake coffees. The bundt cake is at the top right now. The cold brew is something that we love, and I think it's popular, and we love trying different kinds of coffees, but that's going to be with my name too. So next slide. So there's commissary and cottage rules, and if anyone has any questions, I understand that now. Cottage is when you're making something out of your home and selling it. Commissary, we have the one in Eustis, certified with the state, and that's what I use. I can do some from home because you can't have dairy in your frosting if you're using it in your house, and none of those have dairy in the frosting. So I know the rules of that, so I have a commissary set up. The website and social media, all this is waiting on the name, so I'm waiting for this feedback today. I'm working with a baking business coach. That's all she does. Michelle and I were talking about the importance of a business coach, and all she does is help people like me. I have an LLC, which currently is Bundz, spelled like the cake, not my last name, B-U-N-D-T-S, and Brew, B-R-E-W, LLC. So I thought, that seems pretty cool. That covers lots of things. And then people started thinking, are you selling beer? Mm-hmm. And I'm not beer. I'm not having a beer with that. I'm having cold brew. So that's what kind of started my questioning of, wait, I got to stop this because I don't want people to not have a clear understanding what I'm doing. Another IT website person said I wouldn't have three words, I would have 2. Bundz and brew is too many words. I don't know, I'd like feedback on that, not the IT person. So there you go, my business name, too long, but confusing with the brew. I want to ensure people see that and know what I do. I'm really interested in corporate accounts. If you have advice on that, like that they could do for an event, I'd like to go to events. Gifting, I'll also do personal, but things like, office events and things that maybe the business would like to have an event for their staff. So I need some help kind of how to approach and secure those. And then branding, to your questions, to your point about the pictures, if anyone knows a food photographer locally, I would like to know that. And then with my name change, I'm gonna ensure consistent branding, but I need the name. What? So I'm gonna probably rename my LLC, steps to attain corporate accounts, and then the food photography and marketing ideas. Is that my next slide? Can't remember.
Yes.
Okay. So, is that clear? Let me just add one other thing. In my coloring, you can probably see pink everywhere. We have a big connection. So one of the passions I have is breast cancer. I'm a 7-year breast cancer survivor. My husband does a lot of breast cancer surgery. The cool part of our story was he was my breast surgeon when we did that. His mother passed away from breast cancer. So one of the things I want to do with this is find a group of local women that are fighting that disease that we can come alongside. And I think when people have a business and the people buying from them feel like they're giving back through that purchase, that's something that I want to do also in that. So I'm going to have some pink coloring in my branding because that's just something that's very passionate to our family, and I want to be able to, I think that's a great way for us to give back to the community and something that we're passionate about. So thank you for your time. So that's
Name, suggestion,
yes.
Bundz and beans.
Huh? I hadn't thought of that. Yes?
I was listening to the thing, you're just your last name, and I would leave it at that. I would use your last name.com if it's available. I would just use that, and then underneath it, I would put gourmet bun cakes and cold brew. They're small letters. But just the name, that one name brand is what makes it in all things. I mean, you become the name that people relate to those products as being the best. And just that one name, .com, LLC, just your last name is perfect. It's made.
Okay, that's great.
I actually like Bundz and brews, and the reason why I say that, I don't drink anymore, but beers really go well with cakes. And to keep it as Bundz and brews, I think this way, from a business standpoint, you can expand into selling brews if you ever wanted to have a local place and stuff. Because people like beer with their t-shirts.
Yes?
I have a question. Are you always going to be doing commissary, or are you looking to one day do brick and mortar?
One day I'll do a brick and mortar, but I'm gonna start here.
Okay, so I was.
That would be my plan. I mean, unless that changes, but it would, yeah. But I don't want all that right now tied down to that right now too, but.
Because I was curious how important the brew part is, the coffee part, or are you really pushing the?
That's a good, I think the cake is more, but I think that's because I'm so caught up in this difficulty with the name, somewhat.
I guess because in my mind, when I think of the coffee part of it, I think of a sit-down coffee.
Correct.
Brick and mortar. So, but if it was more about like you're working on commission and corporate events, is that really gonna go along with it? It's just a question.
Because that can be broad. People do those like in half gallons, like people bring them to the party, and a lot of people do that. There's a place in Orlando that they'll bring their cold brew and then they'll bring it to your event. So I mean, I can totally, it can be an individual, I can do them in individuals. I brought them in individuals, I can do them in half gallons. So yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll go to Todd, Debbie, and then proceed.
That's what I was kind of going to ask too, is are you delivering?
Yes,
Okay, so like cold, hot coffee doesn't stay good forever.
correct.
But cold brew, some
Does.
people, not even for an event, they just don't want to make it at home and they don't want to pay $6 at Starbucks every day.
Correct.
If you could sell them 5 gallons of cold brew, that they could just sit on in their fridge, I think that's as popular as bun cake, because your bun cakes are great, but I can't eat a bun cake every day,
Correct.
but I can drink coffee every day.
Yes, thank you.
I cannot help with the name, I'm not good at that. But for the steps to attain a corporate account, just
Yes.
a few ideas off the top of my head was, I always suggest sensational, because they have a market. And so you could put your bun cakes in there and your coffee. And if you do sell it by the gallon, they have refrigerators. So it's a great place to sell and maybe get your foot in the door. They also do, they call them whimsy markets.
Yes, I'm connected with them.
So that's a great one if you don't want a
Yes.
brick and mortar, but a little setup shop. And if you make it super pink, like crazy, you'll really stand out.
Okay.
And then also for the food photographer and marketing ideas, my sister-in-law is a professional brand photographer.
Okay, good.
So she can do it all. And I suggest with that, and it's something that she really hones in on, is, and with the food photography, is not just do the food, so it's you and the food. And she can incorporate all of that.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Christine?
As far as the marketing idea, I know personally my business, I've been looking for ways to send thank you for referrals to other businesses, and I think a bun cake and cold brew coffee would be wonderful if it could be delivered to, you know,
Yes.
an agency that refers to me, or, you know, different companies that.
That's what I pictured.
And, I mean, I've been personally trying to figure out a way to, you know, do I need to go to the store and go buy 5 or 6 different things for a gift basket? As a business like yours, you have everything I need to give, you know, another agency in Brighton and mornings, so.
Great.
I think that would be.
Thank you.
Okay, a couple questions. Are you able to ship these yet? Could you ship them?
That's someone else's, it's possible.
Because
Because
DoorDash is taking off with macaroons, bunny cakes, cookies.
definitely I can do
Like
that.
New York.
Yes, definitely I can do that. You can ship these. I mean, the big company that's everyone's probably heard of, Nothing But Cakes, is another. They ship theirs. They ship, so it's possible. I told my husband last week, I need to he's like, just mail us one. I just need to do it. Like, it's just a learning curve. Like, I've never mailed a cake, but I'm gonna learn how to mail a cake this week, so maybe I'll mail, if someone wants to have me mail you a cake.
You can mail one to me for
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that probably mind that.
Here?
I think, so I love your bun cake and I love the idea. The cold brew and the bun cake, I don't know if it needs to both be in the name because they're different markets. They're similar, but I see the cold brew as an addition to the bun cake.
That's what someone else said.
Because your bun cake, I think, separates you from, I mean, we can get cold brew anywhere. I mean, cold brew is all over the place. And I'm sure your cold brew is great.
Well, but yeah.
But there's a lot more cold brew out there than there are bun cakes, and people that can make good bun cakes. So I think you should focus on the bun cakes, and then you, as part of your menu, you have the cold brew to complement the bun cake. And I think there's a lot of viable markets for the cold brew because it's a big deal and stuff. But I think your strategic advantage is really your bun cakes.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna go, Greg, you got a question?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Since you're starting off, you're not gonna have a brick and mortar right away. Just focus on the bun cake,
Okay.
but then he's a coffee owner. So presenting to all the local coffee shops and stuff and providing this, and you being a realtor, this would be a great marketing gift. This is very good. I tried all 3 of these, and I don't I wanted to.
What is your favorite? That's what I
I
wanted.
don't eat this stuff in the mornings.
Yeah, that's why
So-
I just bought a house. It's a gingerbread house mold, but I'm gonna make it a regular house, so for a closing gift or for real, so I mean, yeah, so for realtors, yeah.
All right, we'll go back on, we'll work our way back on, we got like 5 minutes. Wendy?
So I don't drink coffee, so this is like coffee's out of my realm. But the word like grain or granules or grains or like the beans, somebody said beans. If you decided to go, like I know you were saying just the bundt cake, if you decided to tag it with the brew, could you do bundt cakes and then maybe with the occasional brew or with the occasional, I know that's long, but if you still wanted to tie it in and maybe there's a way, like what is Folgers? What is Folgers, their commercial?
Good to the last drop.
Good last drop. So I mean, maybe there's, I don't know, again, I don't drink coffee. So like if there's something like the last drop. Beans or grains, I was just trying to think if you tied that together. But I do agree with you that the market, like bundt cakes, that's solid. And there's pop-up brew shops everywhere.
That's true.
But maybe it's with the occasional brew or something, but that gets long. So I don't know if I'm helping at all. I'm just.
I was just gonna say, what about something like Bundz, and more? So that the and more could be maybe a different kind of cake that you make, you know, not just bundt cakes, or could be the brew, could be, I mean, that really kind of is limitless, but it would allow you to go ahead and have a solid name to begin with for your buns.
You know, that's a tough thing, so we're gonna do next, though, are you gonna expand your menu over time. Because then
Right.
you run into another rebranding, because then they don't know that you're doing cupcakes and this and that and this. So this keeps you open to expand. Michelle?
I love that you said there's no dairy in that. And these days with people being so health conscious, what other
The
things?
cake, it's in the cake, it's not in the frosting.
Okay, so, but what are the things that are different about your cake that would make them appealing to everybody that you could highlight? That's important,
We're gonna
dairy
go
and
through.
frosting.
I've got a couple suggestions here.
Okay, Jared?
Although gluten free would be huge. My wife's gluten free, so
Yeah.
I mean, if I was able to bring her home a bundt cake that's gluten free, it'd be awesome.
I've got, the room's getting fuller of taste testers,
Yeah.
so don't worry, I'm gonna bring one.
The only other comment I had is one avenue for your bundt cakes could be the independent coffee shops. It could even be Foxtail, especially if you have cold brew as a menu option but not part of your name. They would be probably a lot more likely to say, "I'll buy bundt cakes from you," because
Not the cold brew, obviously, because they have it.
yeah, I mean, and every place is going to say that they have the best cold brew, regardless.
Yeah, right.
And I know
Thank you.
firsthand.
Yeah.
All right, I have two things.
Okay.
One, yeah, I was curious, are you gonna expand your menu to other things eventually?
I'm sure eventually, but then, you get into that, well, you niche down, and that's a good place to be sometimes too, so like, we got a killer chocolate chip cookie recipe.
Yeah.
So my family's like, that would be something you'd wanna add down the road, but I'm not gonna add 10 or 20, I'm not gonna turn into a wedding cake person.
No, but I think,
Yeah.
maybe you could go a little bit more broad with your name, of like Bundz Steaks or something like that. And that way you can expand. The other thing is I build websites and work on like IT and stuff. I don't, that domain name of Bundz and Brew, even if you went with that, it's not too long.
Okay.
As long as the domain's available, it should be fine.
It is, yeah, I have it, but it's not. Thank you.
So I know there's been a ton of different suggestions with names and directions and ways that you can market, but I think that as far as how you pick it, what you have to think of is essentially what type of business is it going to end up being. For example, is it going to be a bakery? Is it going to be like a distribution, like I come to a bakery in that sort of sense? Or is it going to be like a shop where I can come in and dine? Is it going to have a drive-through? Those sorts of things affect what kind of thing you want to market yourself and what you name yourself as for a long term. So, and what also affects the type of relationship you have with other places. And I know that it's going to evolve over time, but I would kind of think of what your end goal is and make sure it's aligned that way.
Okay.
We'll go Gabby, Greg, and Jesse.
Just from hearing everything of name suggestions, I really like just the last name because it's a play
Yes.
on bundt cakes, but it's not limiting you to bundt cakes and it allows you to expand your menu if you choose to. So I really like that. Also, I thought about, I know grazing tables are really big nowadays, where they, the full setup. And I know 2 owners of those companies alone. And your little bundt cakes would be so cute on those grazing tables, so teaming up with them as well.
Yeah,
Great.
thank you.
I agree with Gabby. I think you should just keep it Bundz, focus on that, and then you have a great market for the coffee owners and you're not competing. And there's tons of cold brew out there. And later on, down the road, you can always do a DBA and change it if you want and expand and all that. But I think you're better off just focusing on the Bundz and doing all sorts of different stuff. You can do Bundz donuts, whatever, everything Bundz shake.
We'll go to Jesse and then Tony, Christine.
Have you thought about just doing Bundz, like your last name and then cake? Because
Yeah,
if I'm
people
walking down the
accept-
street and just say downtown somewhere and I see Bundz, I'm gonna walk in out of curiosity.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna, if there's coffee there, great, it's an add-on. If not, there's a Starbucks a mile away.
Yeah.
Right?
You actually have your first name as the way it's spelled and then it's not spelled the same way.
It's not spelled the same.
So that would be good.
My only issue with that is that no one can spell it. So they're gonna be able to find it? Like, people have said, how do you spell Bundz? In the cake, B-U-N-D-T is the cake, but my last name is B-U-N-D-Z. So I get it, and that's what, I love that, and people have said that, but
I think it's great.
I think they find it, and I think the curiosity and the more that people tag it and share it and put it on social media, it becomes a thing.
so Bundz.
Bundz.
Yeah, because if they search on
Bundz,
Facebook,
Bundz.
if you have the actual bundt cake name in there, it'll pop up as a suggestion. Yeah, that's like actual.
Yeah.
Maybe the next time I can send it in the first, most companies, at the end of the day, when you do become popular And that's gonna be the brand, and that's gonna cover clothes, it's gonna, whatever you wanna do, they're gonna picture that quality with that one name. And yes, it's not spelled the same way as it's supposed to be spelled, but those will be in your taglines, it goes in your websites, and when they type in Bundz the regular way, your name comes up, we can make that happen anyways. But that brand, that one name brand, says it all.
Yeah.
Right?
Just my last name. Just me and my
You can sell wedding cakes and stuff like that. One name, it's like cinema or anything like that. Just
Yeah.
that one
Amazon?
great thing. All things. You know, there's a lot of companies out there that had a several word name. And we ended up shrinking it down to one. International Spankers, we get my eye. I mean, like all these other companies that just shrunk it down. Because that's who you are. And then underneath there, in your logo, you put your name, and you have a logo, I can see it right now. It's a nice logo with just that one name. And underneath it, explain whatever you want to explain. If you want to, then you can change that anytime you want.
That's right.
You don't have to, you can change the tagline underneath it. You can say Bundz and cold brew or whatever you want later on. You can move that, change it, do whatever you want. But you still become that brand that we associate with the best bun cakes in the world.
Wow, that's a big shoes to fill. Thank you. I
I
really
will
appreciate that.
go, Christina, then
Well,
Rick.
they kind of, the words out my mouth.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking at dinner last night, and I was telling Kenzie, I love chili rellenos, and we talked about that. And when I was in Virginia, next door to me was a restaurant that made the best ever. Well, he got so good at making corn tortillas, he got out of it. He specialized in that. We could find his corn tortillas at any grocery store in the town that we lived in, Virginia, and he started going wild. So like with the different comments about getting into the coffee shops, getting into the different places to buy your product, that might be a direction to go. And then your name will just grow from there. And everybody, I think there's a couple of comments about people that know people in there, and you might grow organically through those, just as a thought. And I was so disappointed that he stopped making those, but he was just loading truckloads of corn tortillas.
I mean, that's what happened with Quick Again. They put their stuff into all these places and they just exploded.
Yeah, that's true.
Great.
I'm not gonna do the.
Not yet.
Okay. In my travels, I ran across someone, Lanky Lassie's shortbread. She's out of Day City. Started in the same space.
Say that again,
She's
Lanky?
Lanky Lassie's shortbread. So family recipe for shortbread. She's about 6 feet tall, and she's lanky. And so we're thinking the same in terms of the memorability of having your last name as a part of your, and so the same way that she branded, you know, her height as a part of her thing, but started in the same place in the sense of, you know, baking out of her kitchen, and then now she has a brick and mortar place downtown, and she ships out. I think the person who I knew in Dade City said that usually a UPS truck pulls up once or twice a week, and that she sells tins and ships them all over the country. And so it's a really cool story, and I think having that memorability definitely helped in terms of her name. So
Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah,
be willing
makes
if you want me to, you know, make an introduction
Oh,
too,
yeah, that'd
if
be
you want
great.
to talk to her.
That'd be
so.
great, thank you.
All right, Wendy, and then you guys want to talk, we're gonna have to do with Wendy's.
Okay.
And then I know, Monty had one last question, so Wendy.
So for search engine optimization value, if you spelled it the correct way one time and then 2 other misspellings, you would really win. So if it's Bundz, you would win on your SEO. And I can show you how to figure out all the misspellings of Bundz.
Okay.
Because people, they can't even spell the word strategic right. So they will have a hard
They
time.
can't spell Bundz.
No. But you can
Bundz for this.
then you can capitalize on the typos and have that in your name so that your domain is that way, and you will win on your search engine optimization.
Okay, thank you. The misspelling is what?
Yes, it's so good.
Monty, last question.
What can we as a community do for you?
Oh, I think you've done a lot right here. This is, I think if you have any other feedback for me, I'll be here after. Once I get this name set, then you can share it with people. But this has been a great help for me to process all this. I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
So I have a shameful admission that I have to make. When Angela and I were first talking about this, and she's like, well, I'm really worried about, or concerned about the name. My thought or concern was not with the groups. So I'll let think about that, and if you haven't figured it out at the end of the meeting, I'll tell you. So, we'll do the swag drawings afterwards. We'll let Kenzie, our guest for today, do those after Joe is done presenting. So we would like to introduce you to our next presenter. This is Joe Kraus with Energized Exteriors.
All right, good morning. Like I said, I'm Joe Kraus at Energized Exteriors. We're your one-stop source for solar power, outdoor lights, and permanent holiday lights. So we flip into this, as I said. So outdoor lights, permanent holiday lights, and power solar. Little background on me before I got into all this. I've been a commission salesperson forever, trying to figure out what kind of way I was going to become an entrepreneur, and it was really hard. I went through a lot of different businesses. I was 20 years in real estate, and I thought that was it until it wasn't. And then I got an opportunity to go chase storms out in Texas with a local roofer. And so out there, with people in Texas, living in San Antonio and Dallas, and it really was great. I loved San Antonio. I hated Dallas. And I wanted to get home, and I was telling my mom, I was like, I gotta get a hurricane so I can come home and keep selling roofs. And I found out this whole time, she'd just been praying them away. Every one of them, just sending them off to work, saying, all this crap. And I was like, I'm gonna move back to San Antonio, I'm never coming home. She's like, fine, I'll pray 1 year. Hurricane happened on a Sunday, by Thursday I was selling roofs. And came home, and this is where I first got my exposure to solar. I had a buddy of mine that sold roofs, immediately jumped to selling solar, came and started doing presentations for my clients, and I loved how simple it was. And solar was, basically, we're saving you money, you got a decision. If we're not saving you money, we're pretty much out of here. And made it real easy, real simple, and then roofing got slow. I didn't want to keep chasing storms. My wife really didn't want me chasing storms, so roofing was out. I got an opportunity to go work for a foundation company. They're a big hedge fund that bought them, wanted to load up with salespeople. I wound up in service there. There's so much to unpack from there, but they gave me 6 minutes. So from there, outdoor lights. So I wound up becoming a lighting designer, and then this is where I fell in love. Getting out there, I was doing nighttime demo after nighttime demo with portable lights, kind of learning how to design in real time, just figuring this stuff out. And then they stopped. I was getting not enough leads, so I was like, stop screening them, let me see some regular houses, and it turns out they look great too. And no matter what we did, I had an opportunity to be creative that I couldn't do, so this was going to be in there for sure. And then in the middle of this, they brought me another product that was the permanent holiday lights. And this is like 2 or 3 appointments, nighttime demos. It's the funnest thing in the world, but it's not conducive to just piling on jobs and filling up a schedule. So Lanai's helped, and then the permanent holiday lights. So these are another whole thing that basically they're marketed to keep you from climbing ladders, and they're marketed to keep you from hiring guys to come put up and take down decorations every year. And I got lucky and found a company called Watts. Watts is real similar to the one that I was selling as far as functionality, only they didn't have anybody in Orlando, and they gave me an exclusive dealership, and their pricing was better. One big thing about them is you have a warm white chip. Most of them have what's called an RGB, which is red, green, and blue. And when you combine those, you wind up with a real washed out light. Ours has a warm white chip, which makes it just a little bit more convenient to use for the whole year versus just a couple of months for the holidays. When you combine those things into like a real super bright white, the red, the blue, and the green, you wind up with more security lights than you do something aesthetic for your house. Then going into this, and it also, they shine a little bit different than regular holiday lights in that they project forward like holiday lights, but they also project down. And if you concentrate them enough, they'll eventually just paint a whole wall to the ground. So the programming is amazing. It's got over 1,000 downloads of patterns, holidays, themes, anything you can think of, what country you're from, they got your flag, and you can set up animations and everything. It's just a beautiful thing. Which brings us to, this is what we're going to be talking about, is the application directly in here in the Lanai's. It winds up being an amazing program when we put it up there. It covers everything. There's a light every 9 inches, and every one of them can be doing something completely different at the same time. And I don't think I have an animation here, but it doesn't. So, but it was a video. But basically what I'm trying to do is create a program where I can go to screen builders and have them sell these lights for me to their clients, so I can just fill up a schedule, and then I can go out and do things like this and other business owner things besides having to do 100% of my sales. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it, and I'd love to hear any feedback. Sir?
Not just screen builders, but there's a couple local companies that do really good business on screen restoration. They go in and they paint all those beams and make it look like a brand new screen. So
Right.
somebody wants to upgrade the look. I think that's a perfect time.
Yeah, that's actually a really good time.
I'll put you in touch with the guy.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yes, ma'am.
Screen builders, but really cool builders. So my dad's getting his pool built right now, and he does all the add-ons. And if they were to offer your service as a add-on in addition to, just put, like, they're already there, they already have the customers.
Right.
My dad would absolutely love this.
Yeah, and there's actually, there's two pool builders, another part of this, there's two builders, one Bob's Pools and another one, I think it's Artesian in Orlando. They have actual pools just sitting right out on the highway. During the day it wouldn't help me, but at night when people ride by and see this happening, you know, with a QR code or something out there, but I'm just, you know, I don't know if I go out there and just offer it, like, hey, let me put this up and put something up, or do you wanna sell this? And we'll work something out.
Yeah, offer
'Cause
them
all this stuff
commission.
is, cause I only, like I said, I've only been on commissions, and I've only had what I've been allowed to do by the owner of the companies I work for, which wasn't helpful, so.
So when you're looking at like housing developments, and I don't know the area right, 'cause I'm not from here, but when you have like new builds go out, new subdivisions, they have typically like builders and contractors that have to be used. Are you part of those groups that you are like in with them? So like when they sell a home and like there's options to build, you are part of that as lighting?
Not yet.
I would.
New construction is something we wanna get into, explore, I just don't, you know, I've only heard like you gotta just give it away basically if you want that kind of volume from builders, but I've never, I've only seen it done with roofing and it's a whole different world.
There's a lot with like fencing right now, and people are interested in lighting and fencing is what I've noticed, and it's always they have to go to the builder, 'cause it's already pre-approved, and you don't have to have all the subdivision, especially with those building plans, so I would try to get in with them.
Okay.
Yeah, that was gonna be my point too, is join the HBA, Home Builders Association. It may take some time to get known, but you've got a unique product that nobody else has.
Right.
And, you know, you may have to do it as a discount, but it's gonna be a wholesale, they're gonna pretty much do everything for you.
Right.
But you get to know all the builders, do the home shows, you know, anywhere that there are builders, you should be there. Right.
What is your competition?
My competition would be the company I came for. It's a product. It's literally the same product, different program and different power supply, but the same exact like SKU overseas for this light. And you know, so and the company that's selling it is a franchise that's like the nation's, the place I came from was like the nation's largest lighting company. So they're pretty much my biggest one. Then the RGB systems, there's a lot of those out there that are marketed as, you know, they're a little bit less expensive. So if people are going to use it year round, then mine will win. If they're not, then they're really, really close.
But are there people actively, you know, marketing and
Oh yeah, people are selling. There's like 3 or 4 brands that operate around. You know, well, I'm up in Papa, but around all these areas, Central Florida, there's about 3 or 4 different types that go on the fronts. You know, I don't know if all of them go into the patios.
Okay, yeah, because I was trying to get a picture of, you know, you could probably, you know, and just thinking as a homeowner, it's like, well, I can do that. You know, I can order that off of Amazon, maybe not get to the same quality or the same, you know, but again, just trying to get a level.
There is one you can buy at Home Depot. Enjoy it.
Okay.
It goes up with stickers. So
Right, yeah.
when your post-it note fails in Florida and the humidity, then you're not gonna have that.
Right, yeah.
So there is a cheap version and there's professional versions. Absolutely.
So,
Sir.
you brought up a competition as a franchise, what separates you from that franchise?
Right now, one is, I mean, I'd say nothing right this minute. I mean, I literally am opening my first appointments today. So how we're gonna approach separating from them, one is our marketing is gonna be completely different, like the target market of what we're dealing with. I'm not just going for $1 million homes. I'm not just targeting rich people, I'm targeting everybody that would want their house to have this.
So they're currently not doing that?
No,
The average homeowner with a pool, they're not doing this targeting?
they're not marketing to anybody that's under a $500,000 house. Yeah, so.
So I was gonna say for your marketing, you're pure, like I was watching these photos come across the screen and I was just like, oh, I wish I lived in this area, this is amazing. So the challenge to you as a person who owns a marketing firm is do time lapses of you installing. You're not really giving it away, right? Because it's a ton of work. If you can get the nighttime photos, like come back, do a video, do reels, do TikToks. Like I know it sounds so dumb, right? This is the world we live in. But because you're aesthetics, you're going to need to take photos, befores and afters, videos and pictures.
Everything
That
has to
sells
be pictures with this. Pictures and videos is all we have. You can't tell people about lights.
Vertical and videos, not really more that, yeah.
As far as targeting the market too, you could really emphasize that it's like in the villages and older people who can't hang lights, and
Right.
really focusing on that crowd and getting into those associations.
Oh, yeah. The village is somewhere we definitely, I tried to get into roofing, and, before I did, I got a shingle approved there, that was a different shingle, so I've experienced the villages, and that's one of the places we're definitely gonna be targeted.
Well, one thing real quick, with Matthew, I can't remember what it was, but your target market. Now, the slides were cool. I mean, like they were really cool. But that's not targeting everybody. That's targeting, I'm sitting there looking at it going, I'm not in that subdivision. So you've got to bring it down to, I think, include everybody, because when you go $500,000 houses and up, everybody in the lower end home is feeling excluded, because
Right.
that's not your market. But if it is, you gotta market to everybody.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely gonna have, I just selected pictures here trying to get this thing straight, because I don't do PowerPoint presentations. So I just stack pictures, the ones I wanted, and I hope I didn't have too many to rip through. But yeah, our marketing is gonna be targeted towards, the people that are in charge of it. Wendy's one of them, and somebody that works for Watts is another one. They give me like a whole branding and marketing company along with their dealership. So they're handling, they're in charge of most of that. She's helping me navigate understanding the things they tell me. So, but they're really smart about it, and that part I'm really in good hands from what I've been told.
When we should talk about the content creation, one of the suggestions I had is, starting your own YouTube channel, most because Google owns YouTube. So anytime you're doing stuff with that and you're posting your URL in there, you're building your off-page SEO, you're doing it on their platform. But also because that content is what you want to use on all your other platforms, on your website, on your Facebook page, on your Instagram page, all these other places. Make sure that you build into your terms and conditions, your contracts, that the release to be able to utilize people's homes, so that you're covered. You don't want somebody to be like, that's my home, I don't want that. So
Yeah, I should have thought of, because they were scrambling to get me to do that for people with the franchise after the fact.
Yeah, and if people do have some issues with it, then you can also offer as an incentive, which you should do for both, say like 5% off, we're allowed to use your home, but also for you, since you're starting out, one of the things I can suggest is your own reviews are going to be big for you, so offering something similar like that 5% off for people that leave you a review.
Right.
Only good ones though.
And you
Oh, yeah.
It
depends on
Google
the
doesn't want you to, but there's enough, you can absolutely be like, hey, 5% off for a 5-star review. Now, Google doesn't want you to do that.
Right.
They want you to get to be authentic, but, yeah, exactly, they can't stop you from doing it.
I know we're focusing a lot on the homes here, but when I see your product, I think it would be great on a commercial level and municipalities.
Yeah, they have special commercial tracks for flat roofs, for different roof
Well,
types.
commercials, plazas, decorate for the holidays, and municipalities, like you can just start a little town of Eustis, how many times they change the lights out for all the different events and the holidays. You have a whole market right there with just commercial municipalities who have maybe, you can get more bang for your buck when you're doing that.
Could you do it on a tree, like map a tree?
There's other lights we could use for that. This one, it would just be, because they hide it in an aluminum track here, and that would make it exposed, and probably wouldn't, with our sun here, that wouldn't be a good idea. But they do make, holiday lights that will stick to the tree. They have, from a company called S4, and I think they actually give like a real 2-year warranty where I can put them out versus the ones that have like a 3-year warranty for 3 months at a time.
Instead of changing it out every quarter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, then you just use them, and because of the light, you can use it as architectural lighting for them, as far as for that, for the buildings.
So coming from a large corporation down to a smaller one and franchising, there's going to be differences. So just recommending and recognizing what those differences are and the gaps of owning your own company as a franchise. As the franchisor, why not be supplying all the tools that you were used to getting working sales?
No, I'm not a franchise. I was with one. That's where I was at before.
Okay, so
now I've got the one, it's an authorized dealership. It's not a franchise.
Okay.
So it's just a location I'm allowed to sell and nobody else is for that.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, and just real quick, we're going to Wendy too. Kind of going back to the one thing that I learned early on is, again, going back to the lower priced homes. always remember, you don't know who they know, and you don't know who they're related to. So you may do something for somebody that nobody else would do, but it's a parent or a child, that their parent or child owns a $500,000 house, and they walk in and go, wow, this is really cool. So don't exclude.
Well, no, to me, the little houses are the bread and butter, because I can do, you know, my guys can do 350 feet of this per day on like a one-story house, pretty close on a two-story. This takes a little longer because they gotta put walkboards and ladders in the pool and stuff, but yeah, they can pump out a lot. So smaller houses for me are really good, because I come from that roof mentality of I wanna get to a job a day, I wanna get to 2 jobs a day, then I wanna get another truck, and then, you know, that's how I wanna grow this. And the other things we do just don't mesh well with that kind of volume. So that's where this becomes the perfect key.
We'll go Wendy, Mary Ann, and then Dylan.
So I know you and I have talked about getting in with the pool enclosures, and we talked about, okay, well, what kind of incentives or what type of packaging? So do we have ideas for packaging it with the pool enclosures? Do anybody receive anything from a pool enclosure to help Joe just figure out, okay, if he's gonna go after the pool enclosure or the people that repaint those, packaging, or how was it? Has anybody had a service like that come and present, okay, we can do this for you, by the way, we do this?
Well, we just went to get, for our house over on the coast, we were gonna do a pool, and I came to, you know, give us the design. I mean, it was just, I think, Gabby touched on it. It's add-on. So our little $45,000 pool is not $100,000, you know? But it's like, so I think that's key, is working with the pool companies and just becoming an add-on. They then sub everything out. They don't do hardly any of the work themselves. So you gotta give them the pool companies. They'll do all the work for you.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
I think, in the villages, everybody knows, not everybody, but they all have these neighborhood groups that like to decorate their houses and do these kind of things. And, I think that, you know, there's all kinds of Facebook groups in the villages, word of mouth villages, buy sell trade, all these different villages groups. So, I mean, villages could keep you busy for a long time if you could get in with them. So, trying to get in with one of the neighborhoods that does the Christmas lights all the time, and then, you know, you know, they would just give word of mouth to you, and it would just really go.
Or like a affiliate member at the Board of Realtors.
Right.
Because you're gonna be with realtors who are selling in the villages. Delaney?
I was just thinking, listening to cumulatively what everybody is saying, word of mouth is gonna be probably your best business card, to be very honest with you. And I don't know how it would work exactly, but just the idea of maybe having some sort of incentive for referrals so that you're not the only person trying to sell it. You know, there's some sort of instant, and I don't know if that's like a cash back or if it's something else, but then that would have other feelers out there for you working in the field. And also the idea that was given to me when I was up in your spot was yard signs. So as you're doing this and people are seeing ooh, ah, that goes right to your name in front of their yard.
You can even do light yard signs.
I like the full things, of course, but my last house, I'm Tony, I'm 10 years old, and I don't want to put Christmas lights up ever again in my life. Like an Amy. But no, I actually went and had my whole house done so that I could come on my phone and press Halloween and change all the lights throughout the whole thing to Halloween colors. And then it was, I think Valentine's pressed the button and it did that. That's worth its weight in gold. I mean, and you did it once, it was a little expensive, but not, every year you have to buy new lights anyway. I mean, I don't put them away correctly. So I have to just go out and buy another set, they're like $40, especially during Christmas. If you don't buy them ahead of time.
So let me ask you a question. When you look at that, did you, and I think this could be a point that you can target, did you break down, it's an upfront cost, then did you break down long term? But if I get 10 years worth of use out of this, then it's broken down to
easily worth it in money. I mean, just and the fact how much you spend yearly to do the whole house. the way you want to.
Plus you're using it year round.
And again, I won't mention the brand or anything like that,
That's
so
all
it's
right.
definitely different. But yeah, I mean, once we put it up, I mean, and also we ended up doing things we wouldn't normally do. We only had Christmas lights up at Christmas.
Right.
But we ended up using it for Valentine's and Halloween and I mean, the strobing white lights at Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
It was scary, it was great.
And that would be a way to break it down from the cost. So we'll go Mitch, Debbie, Michelle, and then we got Rebecca.
Yeah, I was gonna say, also just networking with realtors and stuff, because I know when I bought my house, my realtor that I used contacted me like, I don't know, 6 months into it, and was like, hey, would you be interested in solar panels? Because actually I know this person is selling them. So, I mean, I said no, but, people might say yes.
Yeah, right, no, I understand.
Yeah, and that's where the affiliate board of realtors can come in.
Something I've noticed within taking everyone's comments is I think you have a clear cut of who your market is and how to get there and all the ideas. None of these sound like it's new to you. So what I did hear though was when it was asked is what makes you different than the franchise or your competitors. And I don't think, and I could be wrong, but I don't think you have a clear cut what sets you apart, why choose you. So I think that's where you need to focus some energy, like why are you different? And what does your competition not have that you do?
Right.
So.
Right, absolutely.
Michelle, last question.
One of my fears, if I was going to get this, is what happens if one of those or two of those bulbs go out? What is your?
Oh, 5 years labor and materials.
So I just call you.
You just call me up and we come out and swap them right out.
That's huge.
Yeah, 72-hour guarantee, we'll be out.
That's what makes you different.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's huge. Right there.
Real quick, your tagline should be get lit. Right?
Okay, now we're back to the Bundz problem. Very last question. Pam, last question.
Oh, well, I was wondering what can we as a community do for you?
Well, what I was actually aiming for was, I guess, kind of how to approach these pool builders, because like I said, I want them to be salespeople. I don't want referrals where I have to come back out. I mean, I'll take it all day, but I'm not complaining. But I'm really hoping to create like a dealer scenario where I have guys that are servicing that account versus me having to go show up and measure every house and do all that. So, like, whether it's, like I don't want to give away too much money in the wholesale process of what I'm doing for them. I want to leave them room to be able to make money. And if they have a salesperson, I want that person to make money because he needs the incentive to do it, or she needs the incentive to do it. So it's more just the mechanics of the program is kind of what I was looking at. But I wasn't going to, everybody's giving me great stuff, so I'm going to just shut up.
All right. Thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. All right, so Kenzie, you want to pick our two winners? Everybody put their card in?
Yes, we did that.
All right, so while she is picking our two winners, remember, pass it along. Next week, we have awesome presenters. Next week, we have Eustis High School here. Tell everybody, we want to pack the house. We want to show these kids this is what this is all about. We have two awesome presenters next week. I'm so excited. And they're both here today, Gabby and Christina. So we're so happy that you chose to present on this day. So we're looking forward to that. Tell everybody. But anybody else you know that would be perfect for the audience to give feedback. The feedback has been incredible. Anybody that you know that would be up here. The presentations have been just as incredible. Get the word out. We want to continue to build this, and we want to make it a good problem where we run out of room, and we'll put that back on Pam.
And build a lane.
We'll be visiting later.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Community announcements. Anyone?
Salute to Veterans is Saturday in Farron Park. There's a parade at 1. The ceremony is at 2. Let me think what else. There will be vendors, there'll be food, and there'll be over 160 paratroopers jumping in the lake.
And that's on the 11th.
On the 11th, yes.
Yeah, 11th. So go support our veterans, and then come over to Foxtail into Berries, our first road show. Again, they're doing a fundraiser for a program called the Fourth Trimester. This helps newly single moms get accustomed and adjusted to go back into the world. 100% of the proceeds are going towards this foundation, and it's $20. Go by, have a cup of coffee, buy your ticket at the event. It's from 5 to 9. I think there's going to be free food. There's going to be an open bar. Should be a great event and going for a good cause. Okay.
Monday, November 27th, I am going to do a Google Business Workshop on Zoom. So if you are interested in learning how to optimize your Google Business listing, I will do a workshop on
Oh, yeah.
Lake County, Jermaine, Elevate Lake, tomorrow at the Mission Inn, behind Hills, close to Bears, we're having a workforce summit. We're close to full capacity, but it is for the public, so you show up, we won't turn you away. But we're gonna have a few speakers there and talking about the workforce of tomorrow and what we envision for Lake County. So come in, see the event, get your input, bring your business cards. There will be congressmen, nonprofits, business owners, and government all there. And AD members. They will be from 9 a.m. to noon.
Did you want to kind of ask a question about the 22nd?
Yes, I forgot about that. We've been talking. 22nd is the day before Thanksgiving, and we've been kind of going back with some thoughts on whether we meet or not. We've had great momentum, so that's one of our concerns about taking a week. What's everybody think about having a meeting on the 22nd?
I'll be here.
I'm here. I have to chime in. I challenge my organizers to turn it back to the community because they are the lifeblood, they make coffee, they show up right, but the community owns 1 million cups. This is for the community, by the community. So we want you all to tell us, like, are we gonna show up? And there's times when Christmas might not make sense, right? Or 4th of July, whatever, but I love it when the community's like, I'll show up, and that's what we wanna know. So, it's you guys' program.
I think we're good. I think, we're gonna talk about doing something maybe a little unique and fun, but we'll definitely make it worth showing up. So I think we have good feedback on that, so put 22nd in your books too?
Yes.
All right.
For the event, do you want to add to their calendar for the 12th? For the, later on. Okay,
All right, so who's our winners?
Woohoo! We got Marion Kerwin and Matthew Guy. Sorry if I butchered that last name.
All right, so